let's start this thing then. Hello everyone, IBM J Vilches. Welcome to the viewers on Bilibili as well. I am joined by my fellow Bilibili animators. Andyan si Pedro P, si Kaloy, si Miss NerdyStudios, and Patrick. Ano nga ang space ulit ni Patrick? Pat Animation, okay. So si Patrick pala si Pat Animation. kuyachrishorrorstory. So yeah, mga Bilibili animators rin to sila. Give them a follow, guys. I'm gonna share my knowledge in Blender when it comes to 2D animation. Basta ito ang version natin gagamitin, Blender 3.4.1.
Ano bang gagawin natin ngayon?
Ang gagawin ko lang for part 1 ngayon is introduce lang sila sa interface ng Blender, ang 2D animation na workspace. Kasi may iba-ibang workspace nakikita niyo dito, merong workspace para itong general, itong normal para sa 3D talaga to. And then merong 2D animation which is ito, and then meron ring pang sculpting para sculpt ng 3D object, gawa ng character for sculpting. Meron ring para sa VFX, pwede kang mag-camera tracking, etc. And then meron ring video editing. Pwede kang mag-video editing rin sa Blender. Pwede siyang video editing software rin. So, ang focus natin is ang 2D animation na workspace. So, kung ikaw, Sir Pedro, if you're following along, pinutin mo lang tong nasa splash screen, 2D animation, and dadalhin ka sa workspace. Parang preset na, pre-made na workspace ng Blender for 2D animation, which is this one. So, yeah, meron tayong iba-ibang panels. So ito panel ang tawag ko sa kada parang window na makikita nyo dito Wait lang. So ito ang viewport na panel. Ito ang outliner na panel. Ito ang properties panel. At ito ang dope sheet na panel. Tapos andito ang timeline. Pero sa 2D animation, dinatago ang timeline kasi pwede mo nang gamitin itong dope sheet as the timeline. Kung saan dyan mo dyan ang keyframes, etc. So yeah, these are the panels. At pwede kang gumawa, actually mag-expand pa ng maraming panel by dragging the edge of another panel. Tapos expand mo, gagawa ka ng isang panel. May iba-ibang panels ang Blender for a bunch of stuff. Pero focus lang tayo sa kung ano yung nakikita dito muna para hindi masyadong confusing. Explain ko muna kada panel. So, di ba, merong viewport, outliner, ito properties, at saka dope sheet. First, explain ko itong outliner na panel. So, itong outliner is dito parang nililista lahat ng mga objects sa scene mo. So, itong nasa viewport na panel, ito ang scene mo. Para siyang it's a 3D scene. Kahit na 2D ang workspace, ang viewport pa rin kung saan mo ilalagay lahat ng mga 2D elements is nasa 3D environment. So, lahat ng mga object na nasa 3D environment, including ang stroke. Itong stroke, yan yung 2D na object. Wait lang. Explain ko lang kung paano itong mag-add later. So, dagdag muna tayo ng monkey. So, yan isa yung 2D na element, yung monkey. As you can see, nadagdag yung Suzanne na monkey dito sa outliner. So, ito ang outliner. Parang, this is your way of selecting every element na nakikita nyo dito sa workspace, dito sa viewport, sa scene. So, tatawagin natin tong scene. Parang nagsushoot ka ng pelikula. So, merong camera. Kita mo ang camera dito. This is our actor, which is our 2D objects. And we can put as many actors here, many 2D objects. Tapos pwede natin silang ilagay sa, sa 3D space. So, kunyari, foreground, merong character dito. Tapos dito sa background, pwede kang mag-drawing ng landscape. So, drawing lang ako ng landscape. Ganyan. Tapos yan. Meron ng landscape sa background. Pwede mong ligyan rin yan ng kulay. But I will explain later how to do that. So, yan ang outliner. Ito ang outliner. Lahat ng mga pwede nating i-rename itong stroke. So, yan ang ating mga 2D objects. So, landscape. So, pwede pa tayong magdagdag ng marami dyan. So, kunyari, dagdag ako ng puno. So yeah, Shift A, grease pencil, and then blank. Wala siyang laman na 2D object. And then punta tayo sa camera view. And lagay lang ko ng puno. So yan, meron tayong 3 2D objects. So each 2D object na to, pwede mo silang i-animate individually. Yan ang outliner para to sa organization, para parang igrupo mo lahat ng mga, kunwari, lahat ng actors. Meron siyang sarili niyang folder. So gawa tayo ng new collection. Tawagin nating actors. And lahat ng actors, which is yung mga characters mo, dyan nakalagay na folder. This is mostly for like, i-organize mong scene mo, para madali mong ma-select kung ano yung mga objects na gusto mong i-manipulate, etc. So, ito, pangalanan natin, 3. So, basic lang na kung paano kayo mag-rename rin ng files. Double-click. Type natin landscape. Landscape ito na group kasi mga landscape objects ang ilalagay natin dyan. So, yan ang outliner na panel. Next is itong properties na panel. So, itong properties na panel is, dito ang iba't ibang properties ng lahat ng mga bagay na nakikita nyo sa Blender. So, ito ang render properties. For 2D animation, wala masyadong babaguhin dito eh. Mostly for 3D animation to. So, pwede mo na itong i-ignore. Wag mo nang pakialaman. So, yeah, ignore this. You don't have to change the render engine or anything. EV is good. EV is actually probably the best render engine to use for 2D animation. And yeah, what's your question, Miss Nerdy? Yes, Miss Nerdy, you can do frame by frame. And I will get into that in a few moments when we get to the dope sheet. Next is output properties. Ito ang properties kung saan yung isa-set kung ano ang render settings. So pwede nyo siyang kung anong resolution ang gusto nyo gamitin. HD TV 1080p usually ang ginagamit ko dito, which is yan rin ang default. Pwede nyo rin i-change ang frame rate dito. Tapos dito, manipulate nyo lang dito usually itong format, frame rate, at saka itong output, which is dito nyo ilalagay kung saan na folder masasave yung kung ano yung i-render nyo na files. At saka ang file format, pwede nyo i-render as an image sequence, PNG, or pwede nyo i-render as a video. And usually, pag animation, ito ang pinipili ko, FFmpeg video, tapos H.264 and P4. Gagawa lang ako ng parang separate na tutorial para dito rin kung paano yan i-set up. But yeah, yan yung output na settings ng any animation na gagawin nyo. Ito ang susundin na format at saka kung saan nyo ilalagay na folder, etc. So yeah, yan ang output properties. Itong view layer properties, pwede nyo nang i-ignore to kasi di na natin yan papakialaman for 2D animation. Mostly sa mga settings dito for 3D. Dito na tayo diretso sa world properties kung saan pwede nyo baguhin ang background color. So, ito, background color. Pwede natin gawing green, blue. Pero habang nag-animate siguro advisable na gawin nyo siyang medyo gray. Para, di ba yan naman usually yung parang kulay ng background nyo habang nagdo-drawing sa like kunyari kay Sir Pedro sa Kirita. Kasi usually, di ba, gray na background pero papatungan nyo pa rin yan ng drawing ninyo. So, okay lang kahit di nyo nabaguhin siguro ang background para lang yan sa, habang nagdo-drawing rin kayo. So, yan ang world properties. Yan ang properties kung saan manipulate nyo kung anong itsura ng background. At saka, pwede rin yan gawing HDRI pero siguro masyado na siyang complicated for now. Explore nyo lang yan or explore lang natin yan in the future. But yeah, next, ito, ignore nyo lang rin to kasi mostly for 3D. Ito rin. Next is the modifier properties. And itong property na ito, this is probably the one that you'll be using a lot kasi dito tayo makakalagay ng parang iba't ibang effects sa 2D na object. So kung nangyari, lalagyan ko ng build modifier tong Suzanne. Mayari is, parang isi-simulate niya yung drawing. Yung paano pag-drawing. Build modifier. May iba-ibang modifiers for this. And we're gonna explore that later. So that one, and then may effects rin kung saan pwede tayo dito maglagay ng iba-ibang effect para sa 2D object. Pwede natin lagyan ng shadow ang object which is only visible sa rendered na view. So yan, meron na siyang shadow. That's a 2D shadow. Yan ang mga properties na usually manipulate natin. At saka, itong dalawa, mostly for 3D. Next is the lines, the layers. Yeah, ito rin, dito tayo mostly magstay when 2D animating kasi dito tayo magdadagdag ng iba-ibang layers sa 2D na object. So, merong lines, layer for lines, a layer for fills. So, yeah, next is the material properties. Ito ang parang properties kung saan mo magdadagdag ka ng iba't ibang kulay para sa 2D na object. So, as you can see, itong Susan, meron siyang iba-ibang color. Merong color na black para sa lines. Yan yung lines niya. So, pwede natin baguhin easily ang kulay niyan to whatever we want. Kasi yan ang kulay ng kanyang lines. Meron rin kulay para sa skin. So, pwede natin baguhin yan to any color we want. Depending on what you want. May iba-ibang method to color in 2D crease pencil. And this is one of them, to add materials. And then yan ang gagawin nating material or kulay kunyari ng fill, ng line, etc. So yan ang properties panel. So yeah, ito ang viewport na panel, like I said. At ito ang dope sheet na panel. So start muna tayo sa viewport kasi navigation, kung paano pagalawin lahat ng mga bagay dito. So kung meron kayong mouse and keyboard, para kunyari mag-rotate sa viewport, kunyari itong si Suzanne, siya ang parang center point. Kung gusto mong i-rotate sa kanya, then middle mouse button nyo lang and then drag ng ganyan. Or, pwede nyo gamitin ito. Itong parang gizmo dito. So, yan para mag-rotate sa viewport. Kung gusto mo mag-front view, pwede nyo pinutin itong Y. Negative Y usually is the front view. Makikita nyo dito na sinasabi na front orthographic. So, yan ang front view. Kung pinutin mo ito ulit ang Y, maging hindi na siya negative, which is ang back view. Kung pinutin nyo ang Z, yan ang top view. Pinutin nyo ulit ang Z, magiging bottom view. Tapos kung pinutin nyo ang X, mapupunta siya sa right view. And another X sa left view. So usually, hindi mo na masyadong gagamitin kasi kung 2D animation, front view lang tayo parate. Para mag-zoom in, zoom out, pwede nyo gamitin ng scroll wheel or control sa keyboard, then middle mouse button. Pwede nyo kunyari, di ba meron kayong pen tablet? Di ba meron yung buttons sa parang ballpen? Pwede nyo i-remap yung pindutan as middle mouse button. Kung may dalawang pindutan kayo, I advise na remap nyo sa middle mouse na button at saka ang isa middle mouse, ang isa is right click. To zoom in, pindutin nyo ang control habang hindi na drag ang middle mouse button. Pwede nyo rin gamitin itong magnifying glass for zoom in dito sa gilid. Hand para parang ipan ang view. Or pwede nyo pinutin ng shift and then middle mouse button. So middle mouse button talaga mostly for like ang movement sa Blender. Shift, middle mouse, pan, control, middle mouse, zoom in, zoom out. Kung middle mouse lang is rotate. At saka yun. So usually yan parating yung pinipindot kung nag-navigate kayo sa Blender. So, as you can see, I'm combining middle mouse button, shift, middle mouse button, control, middle mouse button to navigate the scene, the 3D scene. Kunyari, ikaw ang director, you can fly around the scene and check every angle. Pero since 2D, the only angle that matters is the front view. Unless you wanna go complicated and do some rotating stuff. Then, kailangan nyo nang maging creative sa mga ganyang klaseng shots. But anyways, yan ang viewport. Dito kayo magdo-drawing. Merong iba-ibang mode dito. Depende sa kung ano ang nakaselect na object. So, kung camera ang nakaselect, ang mga modes lang is ito. Which is, you don't really need to do any of that because that's the camera. Kung iselect nyo itong 2D na object, meron siyang iba-ibang mode. So, object mode is yung mode kung saan pwede nating iselect each of the object by itself. Wala kang 2D features, is more a 3D thing. Kung gusto nyo iselect each of the object na ganito, dapat nasa object mode tayo. Kasi kung naka-edit mode ka, hindi mo na masaselect yung iba. Ito lang. Itong parang i-edit mo ang iba-ibang lang aspects ng object na ito. So, edit mode, kung naka-edit mode na ito, as you can see, pwede nyo maselect each of the stroke. Tapos pwede nyo igalaw. Pwede nyo ring i-change each point ng stroke dito. So, ibahin nyo ang select mode. So, select mode, each point. So yan, pwede nyo galawin ang point at para meron siyang proportional something editing, pwede nyo i-enable itong enable proportional editing. So meron siyang iba-ibang modes kung para which will manipulate sa kung gaano ka pwede nyo gamitin ang middle mouse button para makontrol ang influence. At saka pwede nyo i-check ang connected only para kung ano lang yung konektado sa kung ano nakaselect na point is yun yung ginagalaw. So yan ang ginagawa sa edit mode. Kung gusto mong baguhin ang parang drawing mo, pwedeng igalaw ang mata. Dito mo pwedeng igalaw ang mata. Pwede mo rin niyang i-animate ang paggalaw ng mata gamit ang edit mode. And I'm gonna show that later. So yan ang edit mode. Meron ring scope mode. Ito rin ang isa pang way para ayusin ang mga bagay-bagay. Pwede nating nyari, ito, medyo rough na line siguro dito. Pwede natin gamitin itong smooth tool para mapasmooth itong line na to. So yeah, kung nagtataka kayo bakit hindi gumagana sa iba, that means nakaselect pa to sa object mode. So control tab pala ang parang shortcut para sa iba-ibang modes na ito. So control tab, ito ang iba-ibang modes rin. Pwede nyo ring i-select dito. So object mode, merong scope mode. Tapos ito gagana na to. As you can see, merong smooth tool para sa scope, para mas smooth pa ang line ng ganito. As you can see, I'm smoothing the lines. Pwede rin natin gamitin itong thickness, which will, kung gusto nyo baguhin ng parang gaano kakapal ang linya, then ito. Para sa scope mode. Pwede nyo ring i-manipulate, pwede nyo ring i-control ang strength or ang opacity ng linya gamit itong strength tool. So, kung ito lang, walang nangyayari. Pero kung pindutin yung control, then yan, pwede nyo yung paguhin ang parang kung gaano ka opaque ang linya. Kung meron kayong multo na gustong kanya na itsura. Pero usually, mas maganda na wag na to pakialaman dito sa scope mode. Para lang yan yata sa mga finer details. But yeah, you can manipulate the opacity here as well sa object data properties ng linya para lahat sila manipulated instead of isa-isahin mo pa. Pero this is for the finer details. Ito is randomize. Siguro randomize ang ang linya gawing wavy very quickly. And it's just control Z that. Tapos itong mas maganda yata makita dito yung pool. Tatay sa scope mode ulit. And yeah, ito ay ang grab. So pwede yung i-grab lang is ang linya na to, then manipulate. So kunyari nag-animate kayo na parang natutunaw siguro. Pwede yung gamitin itong scope mode para natutunaw ang inyong character. Or you can probably draw an ice cream there and do that. So scope mode, this is a pretty useful tool. I don't actually use it that much because what I do when I do want to do that kind of effect, I just use this method in edit mode. Pero siguro from now on, I'm gonna utilize that as well. Kasi pwede nyo ring, as you can see, pwede nyo ring gawin yung natutunaw na effect by selecting every point of your drawing and just really grab that. And you know what? The best thing about this as well, siguro sa Kirita, meron parang set na resolution ng kada line. So kung nag-zoom in pa kayo ng sobra blurry na siya, I think. I don't know. Dito kasi sa Blender, ang line is, you can zoom in really close and the line is still really clear. So there, this is basically just a 3D line in Blender. So yeah, yan ang scope mode dito sa viewport. Meron pa iba-ibang modes dito, itong twist. I'm pretty sure the effect of this, pwede nyo i-change ang radius dito pala sa taas. So ang twist is, it twists your drawing like that. Yeah, meron ring pinch. I think this is to like parang i-pinch mo pa paloob. Meron ano ba to? Clone. Oh yeah, never mind that one. That's for copy pasting stuff. You probably won't be using that much. So ang default na mode sa 2D grease pencil 2D animation is draw mode, which is, you know, we used it. This is how we draw. So for drawing, merong iba-ibang settings dito sa taas. Merong dito mo isa-select kung anong pen ang gusto mo gamitin. Ito ang mga parang preset pen sa Blender. I'm still not knowledgeable on how to add more pen here, but there's probably a way to do it. We're gonna explore that in the future. But this is the available pen for now. Tapos ito, dito tayo magsaselect ng parang kulay. Depende sa kung anong material ang isa-set dito sa material. So meron na tayong mga set material. If you're gonna add a blank object, ang material lang is ito, isa lang, yung black. And pwede kayo magdagdag ng new materials dito by pressing plus and then new. Oh yeah, by the way, one very important thing. One thing that you also need to remember is to save your project file. So Control S to save as usual, and then pili kayo kung saan nyo isa-save. Save natin dito day 1 lang para for today because it's the day 1. So yeah, don't forget to save your project because you don't want to end up losing a bunch of progress. So save. So yeah, draw mode. Ito pili ng iba-ibang pen. Ito ang available pen for now. Merong marker choosing. That actually looks really nice. If you have a pen tablet, then yeah, it works well. Yeah, ito, kung draw mode, lumalabas itong mga settings na to. Pwede natin gamitin ang material mode para sa kulay or vertex mode or color attribute mode sa dito. So, kung i-change natin sa color attribute paint mode, gagamitin niya ang kulay na nakaset dito. So, maybe kung gusto nyong, kung okay lang sa inyo na hindi na manipulate ang kulay, kasi kung ito ang gagamitin nyo na way to color, is hindi nyo na mababago ang kulay. Ganyan na talaga ang kulay niya. Parang sa ibang software pa rin. Yeah, pag kung ano yung kulay na gagamitin mo, yan na talaga ang kulay niya. And there's nothing much you can do about it unless you go to vertex paint at gagamitin nyo yung tint. So kung pwede natin i-change ang kulay pag ganito rin para matint siya ganyan. So that's one of the ways to change the color of if you use the color attribute. But I always use, for easy manipulation of the colors and stuff, I always use material. So kung nagamit nyo na yung vertex, I'm not sure if you can actually change it back to material. I tried to look for it before, but I could not find it. So, you know, yeah. Yung ginagawa ko dito is nasa edit mode ako, tapos sineselect ko lahat para mag-delete ng points. So X to delete points. So yan, material and parang vertex color mode. So radius, self-explanatory na yata to. You set the radius of your stroke. Of course, the bigger it is, the bigger the stroke. Strength is opacity ng line. At 1, of course, it's 100% opaque. At 0 point something, it's less. If it's 0, you really can't see anything. And yeah, another thing that I really love about Blender as well is this part. Itong active smooth, kung set mo yan to a certain value, it will smoothen your stroke habang nagdo-drawing. So with 1, you'll see if I draw a line, it's probably smoother than without any smoothing. But you know, it really feels great drawing in Blender. I mean, Sir Pedro, na-try mo na ba mag-drawing sa Blender? How is it? How does it feel? Because each of these lines are 3D lines. These are 3D lines and you can manipulate each point of these lines sa edit mode. So kung nagkamali kayo, pwede nyong ayusin. And also, besides, by the way, to move a line, you press G para mag-move. And then you press R to rotate. And you press S para scaling, para palakihin. And ang manipulation yan is depende sa kung gaano ka laki ang influence circle dito. Yan, nakikita nyo yung circle na nagbabago. I'm using scroll wheel to change its influence. And you can, I think you can do the same thing here. Yeah, ito rin, pwede nyong select ang move tool. And then move nyo. Pero it's so easy to just do it using keyboard. So G, S, scale, G, move, R, rotate. Each line. Pwede nyo rin gamitin to. Kasi ito, rotate rin. So it's a 3D rotation. It handles all of the axes. So that's the different draw mode settings dito sa taas. So mag-appear, ito, andito lang yan kung naka-draw mode. Kung object mode, nawawala na siya. And each mode have different like tools. Explore nyo lang yan. Depende sa inyong, sa needs ninyo. So draw mode is probably where you're gonna be staying a lot since you're gonna be doing 2D animation. And then, once again, kung meron kayong questions while ina-explore nyo yan, Sir Pedro, just, chat nyo lang ako. I will really help you guys figure it out. Because, once you figure this out, it's gonna be really easy to do things, probably. I don't know. It might speed up your workflow. And pwede kayong mag-explore ng iba-ibang ways para rin ma-deliver ang inyong content. So, yeah. Next is, after draw mode is weight paint mode. Ito, hindi nyo na to siguro, you don't have to worry about these things. Para lang to sa rigging. Kung gusto nyo gumawa ng character rig, siguro, for example, meron akong bubuksan na project. Yung ginawa ko kay Sir Dark Lord, something like this, na merong rig ang character. Parang ganito. Kasi ito, nakarig ang character ni Sir Dark Lord dito eh. So, siguro someday I'm gonna teach you guys how to do this. But for now, let's focus on the frame by frame mode. And you're usually not gonna be going through most of the modes. You probably draw mode, you're gonna use that a lot. So yeah, draw mode also shows all of these tools para sa, pag-paint. So merong fill tool kung saan ay, kunyari, gawa tayo ng bagong actor dito. Gawa tayo ng, I'm gonna press Shift A, grease pencil, gawa ng blank ng bagong grease pencil object. Pangalanan natin to ng stick guy. And then drawing tayo ng stick. So yung orange na yan, yung orange na circle, yan yung object. Yan yung 2D object. Yan yung gitna ng 2D object. Makikita nyo rin na may orange dito sa kada object natin. So kung saan yung orange niyan dyan, ang parang rotating point ng whole object, whole 2D object. So you have to make sure na kung yung drawing nyo is, well, usually pag nadodrawing kayo dyan, nalalagay mismo sa orange. Dyan na, yung kunyari sa 3D space, kung mag-drawing ako, parati ang nalalagay dyan mismo sa orange na position in 3D space. So, kunyari, gusto nyong i-move ang character na nasa harapan. Kahit na basta anything, if you want to move, merong G to move, and then G, Y for front and back, G, X for left and right, and G, Z for up and down. Kung alam nyo naman siguro yung iba-ibang axis, diba? So, if you want to move it to a certain axis, pindutin nyo lang yung X to move it on the X axis. And that applies to rotation and scale as well. So, drawing tayo dito ng stick guy. So, naka-draw mode ako, diba? Pwede ko rin gamitin itong circle na tool. Gagawa siya ng circle na tool, and to confirm that, dapat pindutin natin ang enter. So, na-confirm na, andyan na siya. Then, merong line tool rin. Ito, nasa draw mode lang to nakikita. So, dapat naka-draw mode tayo if you wanna see these things. Kasi wala siya sa object mode. Iba na ang pinapakita dito sa iba-ibang modes. So, scope mode, merong iba-ibang sculpting tools. Weight paint, merong iba-ibang, dalawa lang sa weight paint na tool eh. And vertex paint yan. So, draw mode, merong tools. and we can do different kinds of manipulation. So for the feet, like that, I mean legs. So gumagawa lang ako ng stickman gamit ang mga line tools. Merong arc. So arc, you can manipulate. You know, it helps you make arcs. And this, that's an arc. And this is the curve tool. And I use this a lot kung nag-i-ink na ako sa mga, nyari meron akong ginagawang characters. Gamitan ko ng ganito. And one of the awesome things about this one is you can also manipulate, you know, in a point by point basis kung ang thickness. Nyari, sinelect ko tong point na to. Then I will press Alt S. Pwede ko nang baguhin ang thickness dito na part para mas, you know, mas makapal ang stroke dito na part. Or kung gusto kong parang tapered siya, I'm gonna press Alt S and then paliitin na siya. So pag Alt S, lalabas to, and if you pull further, it will be bigger. If you pull inwards, it will be, you know, smaller. And this circle is again the influence circle. So kung gaano ka, kung hanggang saan ang influence ng scaling. So yan ang draw mode, iba-ibang tools ito. You can experiment on other things. So yeah, yan ang viewport na panel. Now let's go to the dope sheet panel, and to introduce this further, or to explain this further, I am going to quickly animate a walk cycle for this stickman. Okay, another thing that I want to share to you guys now is the modifiers. So ito, modifier properties. Pwede natin lagyan ng noise modifier itong si stickman para parang merong jittery. Nag-jitter siya. So if you look at this, it's probably more. So you can see meron siyang parang jittering happening. We can probably replace the scale para mas nakikita ninyo. So madali na lang, kunyari gusto nyo mag-animate na parang siguro mas maganda to ilagay sa 3 ang noise modifier. So lagyan natin ang noise modifier. Pwede nating iset lang siguro meron bang vertex group na influence. Yeah. So you can see merong parang noise ang 3. Noise, like each frame binabago ang position. So each frame nagbabago ang position ng each stroke. We can also manipulate the strength, which is ang opacity. So each frame nagbabago ang opacity or ang thickness ng lines. Each frame nagbabago ang thickness ng lines. So pwede siyang gawing parang effect rin para kunyari merong static na element, hindi siya boring tingnan sa animation. It's still, you know, it has some kind of movement to it. And parati ko yung ginagamit actually pag gusto kong gumawa ng mabilis ang visuals. You can even like just set it to only affect the trees. So I'm gonna go to object data properties, vertex groups. Gawa ako ng bagong vertex group dito. Nakapunta ako sa edit mode and then select ko lahat ng ito or lahat ng leaves lang. So pwede kong select yan, and kung gusto kong i-select the rest, pindutin ko lang L, and that selects everything that's connected to this point. And then assign ko dyan sa group. Tawagin ko yung leaves. Assign natin 100% na weight. And then kung pupunta tayo sa object mode, then balik tayo sa modifier, and then set natin ang vertex group sa leaves. Ang gagalawin niya lang, it should be just the leaves. The leaves should be the only ones moving. For some reason, it's not affecting the lines as well. Did I not select the line? Ay, tama, hindi nakaselect ang line kasi nakalock siya. So, assign. So there. You have like a quick scenes showing. So kung ano lang yung nasa loob ng camera, yun lang nakikita. Pwede natin gawin, we can change the passe part out sa viewport display ng camera. So merong ibang object data properties ang camera. So ito ang yung properties ng kung ano yung selected na object. And each object, each kind of object, merong kanya-kanyang object data properties. Okay, so that's like the noise modifier. Meron pa iba-ibang modifiers dito. Pero noise modifier ang pinaka nice. Also, ang build modifier. Kasi yan yung parang kunwari, gawa ko ng bagong grease pencil object. Shift A, grease pencil, blank. Then, meron tayong, isulat tayo dito ng pangalan. Like, what? Cursive. Para mas magandang effect, animation. So, wala itong stroke, kaya medyo shaky siya. Wala siyang smooth. Pero pwede siguro natin gawin ang scope mode, smooth. Smoothen natin. It's probably too smooth though. Scope mode, smooth. Pindot-pindot lang natin konti. Draw mode. Then pwede natin ilagay ang build modifier para nawawala siya kasi lagay mo natin sa frame 1. Kasi yan ang ginagawa ng frame modifier. You can set how long it like writes, how many frames, the duration until it completely like shows the whole thing. So that's what the frame does. So, simulate the writing. Parati ko yung ginagamit sa doodle logs. So ganyan lang kadali, sulat ko lang and then lagyan ng build modifier. Meron na akong writing animation. And you can even add a noise modifier to make it more animated. Like it's like some kind of change nyo lang ang position influence para di masyadong intense. Then medyo gumagalaw na rin siya. So yan parang kong nilalagay sa mga text. Like kung gusto kong maglagay ng mga text or typography sa mga animations ko. Ito lang. Another thing that I also really love, balik tayo sa 3, is itong effect na properties ito. This only appears on a 2D object. So kung select natin yung camera, nawawala na yung ibang properties, di ba? So pwede tayo maglagay ng isa sa mga favorite kong effect is itong rim effect. So kung gusto nyo lagyan ng parang edge lighting ang objects nyo, this is the fastest way to do it. The rim effect. So diba, meron na siyang parang shading. Mabilisan na shading. Or since ang light coming from the right here, we can do something like this. So meron na siyang shading very quickly. Also, you can also add the shadow effect. And this is mostly just, that kind of shadow. Pwede nyo yata baguhin ang rotation by doing this. So, para kunwari, from the sun. Then manipulate it further. Change rin ang scale siguro. Rotate natin ito ng mga 90 degrees siguro. 90 degrees. Para nasa talaga siya. Then change lang ang position ng offset. And then scale siguro natin sa x-axis para, like so. And then pwede rin natin lagyan ng blur. So, siguro mga 30 pixels. So, kung nasa material preview pala kayo, dito hindi nyo makikita yung mga effect. Sa iba-ibang parang view mode. Dapat nasa rendered mode siya para kita yung mga effect. And then, what's the other effects here? Merong iba-ibang effect. Pwede na yung i-blur. Kunyari, ang mountain, gusto natin na blurred siya kasi depth of field. You can use this one. 32. And then, increase the blurriness. And that thing is blurred in the background now. And then, kunyari, si Suzanne is a glowing deity. We need to add the glow effect. The basic stuff. Yeah, explore nyo at this point siguro, Miss Nerdy, Pedro Penduko. Explore nyo lang ang Blender. Explore it. Kung meron kayong nakalimutan na pindutin, just ask me. And I'm gonna respond right away, probably, if I'm awake. But yeah, for now, this is it for part 1 of our tutorial, workshop, whatever. It's just a casual thing. And I've showed what I can show. I'm not sure if it's clear. I tried to make it as clear, but hopefully it is as clear as this what I'm showing is mostly tailored for those who are already doing 2D animation and is thinking about switching the Blender. And this is what this video is for those people who already know 2D animation and wants to try out Blender for 2D animation to add in their arsenal. So yeah, this is Blender. This is 2D animation in Blender, which is basically kind of 3D. But yeah, thank you so much for joining in, by the way, Miss Nerdy and Pedro P. Once again, guys, these guys are fellow animators here in Bilibili. Go follow them, NerdyStudio and Pedro P Animation. Search NerdyStudio and it should immediately show Miss Nerdy's space if you search NerdyStudio, and also Pedro P Animation. It's also good just going to immediately show Sir Pedro's space, and give them a follow, watch their contents, leave a comment, like the video, everything. And I'm gonna end the stream right now. Thank you so much for watching. My name is MJVOCHS. Yeah. Bye for the stream for now. I'm gonna end it. Goodbye, guys. Thanks for watching.